The stereo is suddenly blasting organ music. A goddamn pigeon had built his nest up in there. Hello my little darlings and welcome back to another video here on my channel. Yes indeed, and if you are new here, welcome to you of course. And yes, today as you saw in the title, we are gonna delve deeper into the scary stuff. Yes indeed. Some of you have requested that I do a scary video or scary videos, plural, about, you know, conspiracy theories or, you know, true scary stories. And I am somewhat of a conspiracy theorist, you know. I do believe in some of the theories and some I don't, you know. But I am not, you know, that type of person that, you know, dive really deep into the conspiracies that are, you know, going around. But I will do a video about conspiracies as well. Yes. But today we are gonna talk about scary stuff. Yes indeed. And that's why I have some funny looking makeup on, because if you get scared enough, you can always look at my face and see what a dumbass sitting there telling scary stories on the internet, and you can feel a little bit better about yourself. Yes indeed. I don't know how long this video will be, of course, but you know, grab snacks, grab popcorns, grab your cat, grab a blanket, grab your stuffed teddy bear from your baby cradle somewhere in your house, you know, because this is gonna get real scary. Or at least I do believe it will get scary. I really don't know until I have, you know, edit this video, but still. I will grab my stuffed animals and a blanket and I will be right back. While I do that, you can always press that like, subscribe and notification icon, or the other way around, so you can become a part of the DarlingSquad and the Digazmo family as well. Yes! Yes, indeed. No, okay, this looks ridiculous, for real. I can't sit here with this IKEA husky and, you know, this blanket around me, but still, I will do that, you know, because I am scared. And it's me who tells the stories, you know, but, you know, he's a real lovely little dog, you know, he licked my shake, and, you know, I don't even know why I, you know, try to fix my hair before this video, because it's gonna get ruined anyway. But still, he's from IKEA, he's really cute, say hello, I hate dogs, I only love stuffed animal dogs and used huskies, any other dog is disgusting. So, that's kinda scary, you know. But we are not gonna talk about that, we are gonna talk about true scary stories. So, cue filter for me when I'm editing, yes indeed, and this dog is gonna keep me company, yes indeed. I'm just gonna smother him like I'm a monster from the Black Lagoon. So these are true scary stories, and I will, you know, start out with a few stories from my childhood home, you know, or my second childhood home, because I have lived in two apartments when I lived at home with my parents, you know, and the first one were amazing, really good, nothing scary ever happened. Oh yes, it did actually happen some scary stuff when I were really young, but those stories are for another time. Yes indeed. These stories I'm gonna tell you today are from my second childhood home, where I lived before I moved away from home. So to set the scene for you my darlings in this old apartment, you know, it were a ground floor apartment, you know, it were like a detached house, you know, so we had a little garden and a front garden and a back garden and a tool shed in connection to the actual apartment, you know. And it were on the ground floor, of course. Nobody above us except a little bit of an attic, you know. But no biggie, it's were an attic, you know. Nothing big going on up in there. Yes, kitty cat. Don't growl at me, that was scary. So, the apartment, ground floor, tool shed, for back and front garden. And when you walked up to the front door, you could, you know, peer into the living room area. Yes, and it was a really weird L-shaped apartment, you know. So, that's, you know, that. And there were one front door, one side door, and one back door. So there were three entrances, you know, and you could just walk straight into the apartment if you wanted to. And that were, you know, really scary in itself when I was younger. Yes indeed. So when we first moved in there, I had the most horrendously horrible nightmares. Yes indeed. And I can't really explain why they were so scary at first, but you know, I just dreamed a lot about, you know, people breaking in and that sort of stuff, you know. But we just brushed it off, you know, because, you know, new apartment, new people, new school, you know, scary environment, you know, for a little kid. So that could have been that, you know. But I am not sure, because the things that follow in the following years are just too scary for me, so I need to really get into this blanket like this, you know. Because I am getting scared to think about this. So, this first little tidbit of a story is just the nightmares. Yes, indeed, because they are, like the precursor to the actual scary stuff. Yes, indeed. So, every night from when we moved in, I had these really weird dreams. I would be walking around in the apartment, I would hear people calling my name, and it sounded like my parents, but not like my parents, and that were just freaking me out in my dream, when you have that real nightmarish feeling when you are dreaming, that feeling all the time when I dreamt, and they would call my name like Digazmo, but my name is not Digazmo, but still. Like, Digazmo was like, yeah, hello, what is it, and they were like, we are in here, can you come in here? And I was like, yeah, of course, and I turned to their room, and it was just like pitch black.
God damn it, Kit Kat.
Can't jump up like that, I'm getting scared out of my
wits.
I'm freaking myself out with this, so this is, true stories for real. Pitch black darkness, and I was like, why is it, dark in here and stuff like that, and they were like, no, but you come in here, we are in here, and I was like, no, that doesn't feel safe, and then everything in the dream just shifted, and I turned around to run away because something felt really weird, and then I feel like somebody, like rushing from the darkness to grab me and pull me into the room, and then I would wake up like with the heart in my throat, like really freaking scared, and those dreams were really frequent, almost every night I had one of those really scary something is grabbing me from behind dreams, sometimes from my parents' bedroom, sometimes from the closet in the hallway, and sometimes, from the living room. And after a while it was just about the living room, and that was kind of nice, so when I dreamt I was walking around in the apartment, I would just never go near the living room area, so that saved me from having more nightmares, of course. So now we are, rolling up a few years, and I started getting older, I started going out with my friends at night, not drinking, just cycling around town, Yes, I don't know what we did, that was the funniest thing ever. Take our bicycles, ride around town until midnight and then come home, I don't know. That was what we did in those days, 10 years ago. And my parents, probably sat up, waited for me, a couple of times, like parents do. Of course, they want to see if you get home in one piece. And when they were up waiting for me, I could see them in the living room, the lights were on, and they were sitting in their usual spots, and they would wave at me when I came home, and were like, oh my god, you are so late, please go to bed right now, you need to get up in the morning, and oh my god, I am so tired, why did you stay out so late, and the typical parent stuff. And that were just a few times, because after a while I just didn't bother anymore, I just went to bed. So, one of those days after they just didn't care about waiting up anymore, I come home, and I open the gate, take my bicycle and just, shrugging it inside, really silently, I thought, but it probably weren't. Parking it, locking it, and turning around, to see if my parents were up waiting for me, because nobody wants their parents to be up waiting for them for some ungodly reason, Now I would be happy if they were, but they are not. And somebody is sitting in the chair that my dad usually sits, like a white shirt, and like you could see a full body figure sitting in the goddamn chair, and I was like, have daddy fell asleep in his lounge chair once again, and why haven't my mother woken him up, because she always goes and wakes him up, and it was kinda late, like 12:30, during the night, in the night, I don't know the grammar for that word. And I waved, expecting somebody to wave back, but they didn't. So I was like, yeah, okay, he's probably asleep. So I unlocked the door, doesn't bother with being too, stealthy, because somebody's up, of course. And I unzip my jacket, hang it up, take off my shoes, being real loud with everything. And then I just like pops my head into the living room and was like, hey, hello daddy. Daddy, why do I say like that? That sounds really disgusting. But hello dad, I am sorry I'm late at home, and as I say, I'm sorry I'm late, I realize there is nobody sitting in that goddamn chair, and there is no way that my father is that quick so he can run from the living room to the bedroom in those 2 seconds it takes to unlock the goddamn door. And so I just freaked out really much, and then I almost shit my pants because I hear my mother was like,
Why are you home this hour?
and I was like,
It's somebody sitting in daddy's chair. Why are you scaring the shit out of me?
you know, getting angry because I was so scared, you know. And that happened every goddamn single time I came home. I would, you know, unhinge the gate, I would take my bicycle in, park it, lock it, turn around, and there would be somebody sitting in that goddamn chair every single time. Sometimes it was my dad, sometimes it was not. I don't know who that was. I don't want to know who that was. And, you know, I am just really happy I moved out of there, because it was really freaking me out, that goddamn apartment. Especially that goddamn white dressed thingy in his armchair, you know. Oh, I hate that. And you heard my scream, you know, so this is, you know, I am scared right now just talking about it, because I'm getting like goosebumps all over my body. So that was that little story, or 2 stories, you know. There is actually one more story I want to tell, or 2, you know, to be precise. The first one is really, you know, kinda short and kinda simple, you know. At night, when I was sleeping in my bed, of course, when I finally got home, I would hear footsteps on the attic, you know. And the attic in itself, you could not get up there from outside, you know, and you couldn't get in there from the neighboring house, you know, because the houses were interconnected, but they weren't connected, you know. It was like fireproof walls in between them, you know, so there were no way you could crawl into the neighbor's attic or anything like that, you know. And the only way up to the attic were outside of my bedroom, you know, one of those hatches in the ceiling. So it was just like really strange. I would always hear like little footsteps up in there, and I was just really freaked out every night I was going to bed. And, you know, at first I didn't want to tell my parents what I heard, you know, but after a while I just had to, because I was so sure somebody lived up there. It was so freaking scary. And you know what it was? A goddamn pigeon had built his nest up in there. So I didn't have to be scared. It was just a goddamn pigeon and his little family, because we actually went up there after I told my parents about it. My dad was like, okay, let's open the hatch, let's go upstairs, you know, let's see what is up there, you know. And we find a little hole at the side, you know, of the roof. It was slanted, and then, you know, it was a walkway, and then there were like isolation foaming material, and then there were like, you know, like little pieces of wood that held the outside, if you get what I mean. And one of those little wooden blocks were not completely fitted to, you know, the little socket it were in, so you could actually, you know, get in there if you were small enough, and pigeons were apparently small enough for that. So yeah, that were that scary stuff happening in the attic, you know. It was a goddamn pigeon. But the next thing were not a pigeon. I do not know what that was, and this is also kind of freaking me out when I think about it, you know. I try not to think about it, but now I'm doing it, you know. I'm thinking about it
Right now.
So let me just tell this quick story before we are gonna leave each other for the night. Yes, indeed. So this is, you know, in between the nightmares and, you know, the starting of the white dressed thing I'm abob in the chair. I usually got home from school kinda early, you know. I just skipped last classes or stuff like that, you know. We had some sort of weird system where you could check yourself out, and you know, you could either check out early or ordinary time or really late, so you could actually save up hours if you wanted to be free one day. So it was just like really weird, but still I always checked out early, but wrote in that I checked out late, so, you know, it wouldn't get weird or anything, but it did, you know.
Stupid little kid, but still.
So I got home early one day because I just didn't want to be in school, you know, and they checked my paper where I had, you know, checked when I checked out, and it was like, okay, you can go home, you know, like right now, you know. And I was like, okay, thank you. So I cycled home.
I can't speak.
I took my bicycle, I rode home, and I got home, of course. And what I usually did when I got home was to turn on my computer, would, you know, have some Swedish fika with my mother and then with my father. Yes, indeed. Or, you know, at the same time. But this time I was home really early, so nobody was home, so I just turned on my computer. Okay, so where was I? Because my camera died and yes. Yes, indeed. You know, I came home, my parents weren't home, you know. I went into my room, you know, to sit down by my computer, you know. I don't know what I did, but this was the time where you actually burned CDs for your stereo. Yes, indeed. So I was probably gonna burn a new, you know, bomb-ass mixtape with my Visual K music I listened to, you know, at that time. I still listen to it, so, you know. So I'm sitting down with my computer, you know, fiddling around, doing whatnot, playing The Sims, I don't know, burning a CD in the meantime. You know, typical 14-year-old stuff. Yes, indeed. I didn't have internet at the time also, so that was fun. And you know, I'm sitting there just being my cheerful self, as always. And I almost poo my pants because the stereo is suddenly blasting organ music on the loudest possible setting, so you know the chair and everything just like trembles, you know. That setup were powerful indeed. I actually had that for a very long time after that incident also. I just recently got rid of that and bought a soundbar. But you know, sidetracked, I will get right on track right now. And I just hurry down, just turning it off, you know, lowering the sound, you know, turning it off, you know. And I just like, why the hell did it turn on by itself? And even though it turned on by itself, why were it so goddamn loud? Everything was just shaking. Because I know for a fact that I didn't have that on that setting when I turned it off the last time, you know, because when I listened to music when my parents were home, I had it on, you know, kind of low setting because they didn't like my music and I didn't want to bother them with my, you know, screaming Japanese music. Yes, indeed. So, you know, even though it were a power shortage and that maybe have fucked up with some of the internal workings of the stereo, why would it be on the loudest setting, you know? So I just was really confused. So I just sit down by my computer once again and start fiddling again. And it doesn't take a very long time before it just starts blasting once again, you know, the same song like in the middle of the CD. So it's not even, you know, the first track or something like that. It's just like right into the middle of the CD, you know. And I just hurry down to shut it off again, you know, lowering the sound first because that is the, of course, the most important thing in the world, to turn the volume down, you know. And it won't turn down the volume for me. I mean, I am on that goddamn knob.
Slobbing on that knob.
And, you know, trying to lower the volume so I can, you know, doesn't disturb the neighbors or anything like that, you know, nothing falls down, but it doesn't turn down. And I'm starting to press that off button, you know, like a billion times, you know, and it won't turn the hell off. And I'm just like scrambling, where is the, you know, the outlet, the plug, you know. I need to pull the plug, you know, because otherwise I will just go deaf, you know. So I find the plug, I pull it, and my heart drops because the music doesn't stop. It plays for a good solid minute before everything just turns off, you know, including the computer, which was really strange because it was in a different outlet. I can't explain that. I don't think nobody can explain that, but it just freaked me out so much. So, you know, after a while I plugged the stereo back in. It doesn't turn on, you know, by itself, as it should do when it have been a power breakage, you know. So I turn it on and I, you know, it doesn't start to play the CD, of course, as it shouldn't do. And, you know, I start to play the CD and it starts from the beginning and everything is just as it should be. And it didn't do anything of the sort after that. It didn't do, you know, I have had that goddamn stereo for 15 years and before that my parents and my brother had it for like 15 years. So it's like ancient shit. So it hasn't done that since. It didn't do that before that incident. So I really don't know what went on that day, and I am just, you know, freaking out thinking about it. The weird thing is that goddamn CD disappeared afterwards. I don't know where it went. For real, I don't know where it went. I had it in the CD tray of the stereo, and when I should switch the CD out a couple of days later, you know, I hadn't played music. The CD were just gone. I don't know where it went. I don't believe my parents threw it away. Why would they? I didn't throw it away. My brother didn't throw it away because he didn't live at home at the time. So I don't know. it was just gone and I haven't found it yet. And I'm not the person who just throws away stuff under any circumstances. So that were those scary stories. I do believe I can, you know, manage without that blankie right now. And I hope you enjoyed them. They are 100% true. I have some more stories on the go, you know, in stock that I can, you know, tell you in the future if you want that, of course. I am happy to tell them to you, my darlings, if you want that. Yes, indeed. So please comment down below what you thought of this video and this video idea, because, you know you have requested it, so I hope it met your expectations, and if it didn't, I will make another one, so that might meet your expectations instead. Yes, indeed. But please comment down below, and while you are at that, if you haven't done it already, please don't forget to press that like, subscribe and notification icon with all notifications turned on, so you can become a part of the DarlingSquad and the Digazmo family as well. And as always, never forget to be who you are, since nobody else can. And I see you in the next one. Hopefully, if I don't die in my sleep tonight. Bye!